in the night, your heart fills with dread. Probably a murderer who wants you dead. It could be a ghost, a demon, or worse. Perhaps you're the victim of a witch's curse. It's hopeless, you're doomed. You'd call a priest if you could. You'd rather just listen to who? Sinisterhood.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Freaky Friday, where we tell your odd but true stories. It is Friday, July 18th, and we're off this week. But in the meantime, here are some of our most memorable stories from Freaky Fridays past. Enjoy, and we'll be back soon.
This next one's from Misty, and it is called The Motherfucker in the Attic. Picture it, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2022. It was 2 days after Christmas, and I had just gone to bed with my 1-year-old and 6-year-old after a long day of playing with their Christmas presents, cleaning up after them, playing with more Christmas shit, and cleaning up again. Just after my 2 little bed-hogging garbage gremlins had finally drifted off to sleep, my husband, who had just gotten off work, barreled through our bedroom door, 90s boy band hair swaying to and fro with the frantic side-to-side movement of his body. I could tell something had him triggered, but I was not about to hop out of bed to chew his head off and risk waking those 2 slumbering cherubs, who were surprisingly still asleep. I was about to get pissed, as it usually takes me for fucking ever to get the kids to sleep on my own. On top of that, my lovely other half has extreme anxiety. The smallest movement of passersby in front of the house in broad daylight can set him off. So I knew whatever he was flipping out about was likely not a big deal, and that he was most definitely overreacting. Then he leaned over to me and whispered, "There's someone in our attic." Excuse me, bitch? He dashed to the closet in our bathroom, failing to shut the damn light off as to keep the kids asleep. And then I heard the metallic slide and click of the magazine going into his gun. He bolted from the bathroom door, still ignoring the light, and made a beeline for our garage. I lay there in silence for the next few minutes, with a tiny baby foot shoved into my fat cheek, the kind on my face, not my butt. My 6-year-old was currently shoving his back into that part. And then I heard it, the bang of our attic doors slamming down on the garage floor. I waited for the sound of it retracting back into the ceiling, signaling that hubby really did overreact, and that perhaps he really just heard a raccoon or an opossum scuttling around up there. But that sound never came. My own anxiety really started heightening at this point. And just when I thought all had gone silent due to a lack of incident, I heard the pop-pop of a gun. Was it our gun? Was it the intruder's? Did my husband just kill a guy in our tiny, overpriced rental house in the worst part of the city? Did this intruder just kill my husband? Am I a widow? Are my kids fatherless? I was too terrified to get up and put myself and the kids at risk to go check. I could call 911, but my phone was out in the kitchen charging. I'd have to get up and walk out there, one room away from where this dude was chilling in our attic, just to call for help. I mustered up my courage. I was going to run as quickly as I could to the kitchen, grab my phone, and book it back to the bedroom, where I'd lock the door and hide us away until safety arrived. Just as I pulled the blanket off to get up, I heard the garage door that led into our kitchen slam shut. All I could do was rush to the bedroom door to shut and lock it. Just as I was ready to do so, my husband walked quietly into the room, into the bathroom closet to lay the gun down, and back to the bedside to tell me he'd shot at the guy, but that he managed to flee right back out the same attic vent he most likely entered through. The good news was that the cops had our neighborhood surrounded. The chopper was in the sky searching, but he was out of sight. I checked the public arrest records the next morning to see if he'd been caught, which he luckily had. He was booked on drunken DUI, assault of an officer, and evading arrest. I saw nowhere in the report that he had been charged with breaking and entering, even though my husband did report it to the police that evening. Regardless, his bond was set to a low enough amount that he could easily get out soon. And the worst part about it? He lived down the street from us. Yep, 4 houses down to be exact. So why did he choose our house to hunker down in? We could have easily gone to his own home? I'll never know. The good news is that we got the hell out of there as quickly as possible. We finally purchased our own home just outside the city, where we live happily with our 2 dogs, Kevin the pug and Arnold the German shepherd, and a whopping crime rate of 0 incidents per year. Our realtor told us about a website where you could check this out by typing in your address. And boy, did it come in handy. In hindsight, this shouldn't have been as surprising as it was. The area we lived in was well known for its crime rate, but the neighborhood itself was new. And are you ready for this? Across the street from a police station. We had also had our garage broken into twice before this incident. When we decided to break our lease after the douche canoe broke into our attic, we did so citing safety concerns as our reason. But did that stop our landlord from charging us the $2,000 lease breaking fee? Of course not. In fact, when we discussed it with them, they simply said, yeah, well, crime happens everywhere. Dickbags. Keep it creepy, ladies. Love, Misty.
That is so gut-wrenching that your husband, you think, he's goofy. He probably just heard a raccoon. And the silence followed by the pop, pop.
Mm-mm.
Just sandwiched between your kids like, well, Lord, I hope he got him.
Or in that moment, it's Schrodinger's attic. You don't know who got shot at. And,
who got who. God, that's eerie. The neighbor, too.
Yeah, I have to, I'm hoping that, I assume since he got a DUI, he was very intoxicated and was just out of his head and, maybe thought it was
Confused.
his own house or just it. We've all been super drunk to where we're like, oh yeah, I should just crawl in this person's attic to take a nap. Sounds like a great idea at this time. But the problem is in an area, especially where there's a lot of crime, there's a good chance you're going to get somebody coming up those attics with a gun.
Yeah, if a gun, a hammer, a bat, I don't know, you're in not your own house. Go in through the front door so you can make sure that the numbers on the front match the numbers on your ID. That's usually like the best way to go about it. But that's just, and it's very frustrating to have the landlord say, well, crime happens everywhere. And sadly, that's the law, at least in Texas, that unless it's a certain type of a crime like stalking, sexual violence, family violence, there's very narrowly drawn because, there is a lot of crime. And I think victims should be able to leave. But unfortunately, the legislature thinks, well, if we let everybody leave when a crime happens, then everybody'd leave. And it's like, well, maybe that's not such a bad thing to force
maybe
to let people
that's
out.
The problem we should be addressing. Not like, well, we can't just let everybody have their money back. Instead, why is so much crime happening?
Exactly. Yeah. Chicken or the egg. Fix one of them. But yeah, that's how it stands right now. So man, $2,000 to say, really? Because I literally had to chase an intruder out of my house where my children were at home.
Yeah.
And they
the
just
kids
shrugged.
definitely amp up the fear factor in that for sure. Well, I'm glad 100%. You got out of there because what an awkward thing to have to run into him just while you're out getting your mail.
That's
My
also,
God.
that is like, hey, you guys almost shot me. Yeah, you wandered into my attic. Yeah, don't. That's
what
very
a hard
awkward
thing to do. Because
an
attic vent would be on the roof, right? So do you have to crawl on the roof to do this?
That's what I was wondering. Or it must have been. Or some houses, depending on the location of the air conditioner, you can kind of boost yourself up onto the roof. Some people use those outdoor units, and then if there is some sort of a vent situation up on the roof once you're up there, they may. He maybe was on the run and was like, oh, shit, I see a vent up there and just hop, like parkouring himself up there.
It's also very dangerous because you don't know once you get in a vent thing if you're going to get stuck. What's in there? Like, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, what's on the other side? We've seen it in a movie 1,000 times. You're trying to escape the bad guys.
Not everybody's Bruce Willis, so don't think you're going to crawl through all these vents. And even he had problems. We all remember the rat.
Right through, and the bad guy's right there.
Yeah, so don't do it. And we're very glad, Misty, that you and your family got out and found a great home now. And she can live peacefully, I hope.
Home sweet home. Sinisterhood will be right back. Millions of Americans grind or clench their teeth at night, and most don't even know they're doing it. It's really easy to just grind your teeth due to stress or thinking about things. If you're me, you're just grinding your teeth together, and it's not until you have a sore jaw that you even have realized that you've done it. If you have jaw pain or headaches after a night's sleep, there's a high chance you grind or clench your teeth. Teeth grinding, also known as bruxism or TMJ, is generally caused by stress, and it can cause serious damage, such as eroding away your enamel and broken teeth, which leads to expensive dental bills. The solution to protecting your teeth is a mouth guard, but mouth guards from the dentist can cost you around $500 to $800. Good news is that there's Remy. Remy makes dental-grade, professional-quality mouth guards without the painful price tag. They're up to 80% cheaper than what you pay at the dentist, and they don't require you to visit a dental office. Remy's process is simple. They send you an at-home impression kit to create molds of your teeth. You send those back to Remy, and Remy's dental team will make your custom-fit guards and send them right back to you. Remy's guards are so comfortable to wear that most customers forget they're even wearing them. Plus, with the 45-night satisfaction guarantee, you can try it risk-free, sleep better, and decide if it's the perfect fit. If not, Remy's got you covered. It's really a very simple process. Like they said, they send you everything. You do it yourself. If you need help, they have, a little email. You can email them for help on how to do it. And honestly, putting the clay together to make it into the mold is so satisfying. So it's also kind of fun as you do it, but it's super easy to do at home. Mail it off and it comes back fitting perfectly. No waiting rooms, no overpriced bills, just a better way to protect your teeth while you sleep. Try Remy risk-free at shopremy.com/sinister and use code sinister to get up to 50% off your night guard at checkout. That's 50% off at shopremi.com/sinister with code sinister. Thank you, Remy, for sponsoring this episode.
Well, this next one is from Jamie. This is also one that we haven't really had before. And the subject line is, when your timelines glitch and twist. I want to start by saying thank you both for all that you do. Your caring about victims and your dedication to research does not go unnoticed. I'm a longtime Patreon supporter and continue to be blown away by all the extra content and love you so consistently shower on your patrons. And an extra thank you for joining Cameo. My birthday video was perfection. I wish I could reciprocate with the Bigfoot sighting, but alas, this is not what this tale is about. I often get the, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" or "Have we met before?" comments when out in the world. And I always have. I brush it off as having one of those faces, but it does seem excessive. I never really thought too much about it beyond, here we go again, until the day that my husband and I can only describe as when our timelines got twisted. One night we went to a restaurant we occasionally go to. Think once every 3 or 4 months. The hostess gave us a huge smile and said, "So good to see you again," when she sat us. We just thought she was friendly. Then our waiter came over and said, "You're back so soon." We said, "Well, it's been a few months, but yeah, we're back." He looked really confused and started laughing. He said, "Today seems long, but I wouldn't call last night a few months ago." He then said, "What are we drinking?" Followed by our 2 drinks that we hadn't ordered or said yet, but he was right. When he walked away to get our drinks, my husband and I looked at each other with "what the fuck" written all over our faces. I said, "We were home having spaghetti last night, right?" And he said, "Of course we were." The waiter came back with our drinks, said an out-of-nowhere comment, and you could tell he was waiting for us to react. We just looked at him, and he said, "From last night, remember?" We said nicely, but emphatically, "My dude, I promise you we weren't here last night." Next thing we know, he's given our table to another server and keeps giving us weird looks the entire night as he walks by. He also went to the hostess stand, and they talked and looked at us repeatedly. As our new server leaves with our credit card after dinner, the original server goes up to her and looks at it. He then gives us a pointed and dirty look. At this point, I have no idea what's happening, but it feels like it's going beyond us getting punked or mistaken for someone else. As we're leaving, I hear him at the hostess stand, saying loudly for us to overhear, "Yeah, and it's even the same name on the credit cards. I don't know what the hell their problem is." We have a very rare last name, so even though my husband is a Mike, there are not many, if any, other people with our last name, especially in our area. There was no other charge on our card. You can bet I looked because I thought maybe we'd both had a joint hallucination about spaghetti at home. So we most definitely had not been there the night before, regardless of what the server and the hostess thought. I can only hope they didn't take it out on the other Mike and Jamie when it got untangled and they went back to that timeline. At least I know we're a ton of fun in both timelines and that we ended up where we're supposed to be. But it was easily one of the weirdest nights of our life. This was about 6 years ago. The restaurant has since closed, but every time I drive by it, I give a silent shout out to my other timeline. Keep it creepy, but in your own matrix.
Holy shit.
I thought you'd like this one.
Well, especially because I've recently found people on TikTok who talk about they believe that by performing certain ritualistic acts that you can switch timelines, and that, you know, if things aren't going very well for you, that you can essentially be like, all right, when I wake up tomorrow, it's going to be totally different. And this one woman who's done it, maybe it's the internet, right? I don't fucking know who this lady is, but talks about like, you have to be ready to leave that other timeline behind and understand that it's still going to be your family, but they might have different memories and there may be different things that you're going to just have to accept. Like, remember when we went to SeaWorld and your kids are like, we never went to SeaWorld, and you go and check the family album and you actually went to Six Flags, but you remember that you went to SeaWorld? Yeah, in that other timeline, you went to Six Flags. Here you went, you know, like vice versa. Like you...
What are the rituals?
It's like, I'll try to find it on TikTok again. I'm sure I probably saved it because it was so wild. But you say a certain thing. She's like, you say a certain thing so many times the night before and like drink a glass of water.
I've seen it. I've seen this. I think it's something, I am going to be in the timeline I need to be when I wake up or something like that.
Yeah,
I've seen one that's similar to that.
Yeah, it's something like that. Exactly along those lines. But my question was always what we're going through here is like, if your consciousness then gets to switch into some other string on the multiverse, then what happens to the one that gets left behind, or what happens to the one that you swap with? And it sounds like Jamie may have got swapped on, and she's like, the fuck, man, I thought we had spaghetti. And some other Jamie tried to hop timelines. You're gonna have to fight when you run into other Jamie. Y'all are either gonna have to come together about it, or you're going to have to fight to the death. But the bad one is the one with the goatee. That's how you know. I learned from South Park that your evil twin from an alternate dimension is the one with the goatee. But yeah, it's like wild. What do you think is happening here? You're our debunker, you Occam's razor.
I don't really understand. I can't grasp the concept of multiple timelines. I'm not saying I don't believe in them. I just can't wrap my head around it because it is such a vast thing to try and understand. So I need to do more research about multiverse and different timelines and how it would even be possible for something like this. I don't know. I don't have an explanation.
Deja vu? But
the waiter and hostess were just wrong. They got their days mixed up, but it seemed like they were pretty adamant that they had just seen them.
Well, and especially if they knew the drink order and also had like inside jokes from the night before and knew the last name, if it's a weird, funky last name. That's so eerie, though. Man, I'm sad that I wonder if in the other timeline, the restaurant's still open.
Jamie, you got to do the ritual. Go to that other timeline and then be like, see, I told you I'm from the other timeline. Let's all be cool now.
Everybody just be cool. I'm going home to eat spaghetti with Mike. Leave me alone. Yeah, I don't know if I want... It's like the crazy part, too, is like, what if you do that? And I guess the idea in the TikTok from the woman I heard, which sounds like such a dumbass sentence.
When you were reading the news, the Weekly World News, you came upon this article.
Yeah, the things I've said before of like, I read in the news today. All right, it was a tweet. I'm not going to lie. I read a tweet. But she was saying that if you do that and you jump a timeline and things aren't good, then you just do the ritual again. And I guess you just like keep hopping until you find where you're supposed to be.
If I did the ritual tonight and then in the morning I wake up in a different timeline, where's past me?
I think that this is already existing and your consciousness is hopping to another plane of existence. That's all what I was telling you when we tried to watch that video and I
demanded it be turned off because like, it was blowing my mind too much.
You're just like, I can't hear any more of this. I can't hear any more about how time's already happened but never has. Yeah. How is that? And the physicists are like, well, much. Albert Einstein. And we're like, no, shut it down. But I think because of that, the idea is that it's linear and it's already existing. So this will still continue on, but your consciousness is going to end somewhere else, be somewhere else.
Well, then how does my consciousness in the other timeline, how does that Christy still like operate and walk around and do stuff?
Like I said, it's like it's already happened. And so you're just hopping into another one that's already happened. And it's just existing.
I'm lost. I'm telling I consider myself a fairly intelligent person, but this is one thing that I just cannot understand. And again, I'm not saying that means that it's wrong. I'm just not smart enough to figure it all out. I gotta have it explained to me in I need a diagram. And I need it explained like I'm 5.
Well, as you say, I disagree. I don't think that you're not smart enough to figure it out. I think that we haven't found a precise and clear enough explanation for you to explore the concept.
It's hard for me to grasp just vast concepts. I kind of need to see it all mapped out and be able to understand it visually. So when it's just a concept I have to imagine, it's harder for me.
Yeah, I think intangible is more difficult than to understand. My friend who's an investment advisor and a mathematical genius talked about when he was a kid, when the teacher would be like, all right, we're going to talk about apples, 2 apples, take away 1 apple. How many apples are left? And he's like, where did the other apple go? And the teacher was like, that was not my question. He's like, but where is it? And she's like, we took it away. He's like, did someone eat it? Where is it? And she was like, just take 1 away. He's like, who's got the second apple?
This is Ella. God damn, that's Ella.
Well, maybe someday she'll be a genius hedge fund manager like my friend, because it's
maybe.
And it was, for him, it was like, oh, well, I see it better when it's numbers and you're not giving me apples to take away. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, apples were too elementary for a little baby version of you. But
she's going to be a hedge fund manager or a cryptozoologist. I feel like those are the 2 paths for her.
What if she's a cryptid zoologist?
Ooh, cryptocurrency for cryptids.
Yes, she captures the cryptids and then turns them into NFTs, and then they're priceless and valuable forever.
Oh, well, Godspeed. I hope in that timeline that's, I guess, already existing, I hope she's doing great.
She's doing great. The cryptid
good.
Zoologist.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for blowing our minds with that one.
Sinisterhood will be right back. You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. That's why we made the switch for the office phone to Mint Mobile. It's super easy to do. We already had a phone, stuck a SIM card in, easy to set up, fast service, reliable service, and not expensive. With plans starting at $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. The coverage and speed you're used to, but way less money. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and financially. The best part, use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Like I said, you just stick the SIM card in, figure it out. It's it took 2 seconds. I was afraid I was going to have to call Paris for help. And when I called him in, it was like, what are you good? And I was like, my bad. Yes, I'm good. So actually didn't even need any supervision. It cannot be easier. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Sinisterhood. That's mintmobile.com/Sinisterhood. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month, 5-gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Well, this next one is from Alex, and it is called How My Dad Almost Beat a Serial Killer's Ass. And a brief content warning, this mentions aggressive handling of an animal. Hey girls, I'm going to quickly gush about how much I love you girls and the podcast. I've listened to every episode and I'm now working my way through again because you two are the only thing that make work bearable. Okay, now to the story. This is my dad's story, but I think you'll love and hate it at the same time. So here we go. Let's set the scene. It's October of 1992. We lived in Park City, Kansas. We were living in the little trailer park in town and we had just got a new dog. Her name was Dot. My mom, dad, and at the time, 5-year-old brother lived there. My mom was just around 4 months pregnant with me. My dad was working on putting in a new fence with my papa, and my mom was probably inside dealing with the dumpster fire that was my brother. See, Dot liked to act like the convict she was and escape from the yard daily. As they were putting the post for the fence in, a white truck pulled up. This is when my dad realized it was the dog catcher, since Dad had been dealing with him a lot lately. Dad just thought he was there to make sure he was building the fence tall enough so Dot wouldn't be able to yeet herself over it. The driver got out, and my dad stopped what he was doing and started walking towards him. The man went to the back of the truck, opened the back doors, and pulled our Dalmatian, Dot, out of the back, carrying her up to the house at chest level by her collar. My dad my dad, got right in the man's face, poking him in the chest back down the driveway, yelling, "Don't you ever touch my dog like that!" Poking him after every word, mixed with some much more heated comments, and my dad ending the confrontation by telling the man he would kick his ass if he ever saw him touch an animal like that again. Once the new fence was up, we didn't have to deal with that asshat again. Fast forward to February of 2005. We were at my grandparents' house hanging out when the news came on with breaking news. They had arrested Dennis Rader as BTK. My dad was watching this and had every emotion running across his face. That's when my dad told me this story and ended it with, "That's the man I poked in the chest down my driveway." Insert record scratch here. What? My dad poked that psycho down a driveway and threatened him like the gangster he is. Months later, my dad got a call from one of the main detectives on the case that he'd known since way before I was even a thought, telling him that my dad's name was on Rader's kill list. I can only assume it's because of that day. Hope you enjoyed the story. Love what you girls do. Keep it creepy.
Well, you don't want to be on anybody's kill list, but the BTK is a particularly heinous killer to be listed among his potential victims.
This is the one that made my jaw drop. I should have put it together with Kansas and the dog catcher, but I wasn't thinking. And then I was like, oh my God. I mean, few of us have confirmation that we have been that close to pure evil, that you've touched someone so inherently evil, been that close. And then Dennis Rader didn't forget. He got in his car and wrote down your address. 1992 to 2005. I'm glad it was stayed on the list because that's a long span where something could have happened. But that is wild. And again, I think we talked about it maybe on the last Freaky Friday that you never really know the people you're dealing with, just everyday strangers, like who you're walking past, who your barista is, your server at a restaurant, the dog catcher. You know, I mean, most people we interact with, it's just on kind of a surface level. And then when you find out, like, holy shit, this guy was one of the most monstrous serial killers in the history of the world. And I threatened to beat his ass because he dragged my dog up like a total asshole. That's not how you carry an animal. No. Good for you, man. Good for you. You are a true gangster. Good for you, sir. Daddy doesn't fuck around.
Don't fuck with my Dalmatian. Yeah, don't fuck with my Dalmatian. But you're right, that kind of the banality of like, he was just driving around that day, returning dogs back to the yards, you know, like knowing what he knew, what he had done before, what he would go on to do. It is just such an eerie feeling. And instances like this, I mean, it just shows you he has no regard for the pain of an innocent creature to drag a dog by its collar and be, you know, that's on the extreme low end of what he's even capable of. But to see a person that's capable of doing that and being like, what kind of an asshole are you treating an animal like that?
Man.
Buddy, you got no idea. And that's just so eerie. But I'm glad that he, like you said, he ended up staying on the list and didn't become a victim of it, because your dad did nothing wrong. I mean, you see a wrong going on, you correct the injustice of like, get off of my yard, leave my pet alone. It's not like your dad did something heinous to him that, you know, this guy's just a plain serial killer, literal psychopath, and did what he did because of who he is. So, man.
I absolutely would poke a dog catcher in the chest and say, get the fuck out of my yard and don't ever touch my dog if they brought one of my animals back like that.
No, for sure. Yeah,
Somebody
not knowing their background.
Pedal up the driveway.
Well, good luck.
I will have news. First of all, yeah, good luck. She'll just eat you.
She'll just yank her anywhere. I saw her go ham on a fully like a banana with the peel, which stupidly I go, does she just eat the whole thing with the peel? And you go, no, she peels it with her hooves. Oh, let me wait and watch. She didn't. She just ate it. But the screams and squeals when she was about to knock over your planner and you're like, come on, pet over here. And it was like, Ree!
Oh yeah.
And that was just gentle, like, come on, like coaxing. I can't imagine someone got her by the collar. You're donezo.
Oh, you couldn't. First, you would never catch her. I dare you.
She fast.
Oh, she's fast. And
strong.
People are, they can be scary. They're very loud and she is very strong. And they can be intimidating for sure because of her girth.
She's thick. Her belly rubs the ground. She's perfect. She's exactly what a pig should be. She's a snapshot of what it should be.
You were watching her and you go, is that her belly? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, man, get a load of that. And it's just, she's walking and it's, maybe a millimeter from just brushing the ground, just swaying back and forth.
Perfect how it hangs. Her little tail.
She's so sweet.
She's the best. Well, sorry, I always go off into Petal, how much we love Petal. But you're right. I think all this to say that, man, Alex, your dad dodged one and your whole family did. So thanks for sharing that with us.
And what a story.
Yeah.
That's a story I would tell a lot.
Yeah.
Like every dinner party, if somebody's like, hey, who's got 2 truths and a lie? I'll be like, I got one.
Yeah, I got a truth for you. Absolutely. Bring that up.
Well, this next one is from Chelsea, and it is called Halloween Strangers. Christy's anxiety at the Halloween party reminded me of the strangers that arrived at my Halloween party a few years ago. The year was 2017. I was in my mid-20s. We threw our annual Halloween party. We shared the house with 5 people, and we invited all our friends. The party was an hour or so in, and we'd all had a few beverages already, when 2 people came walking up the drive. Everyone was in costume, and so at first, we were excited to see what we thought were friends in costumes. I was playing the good host, inviting them in and asking if they needed anything to drink. The 2 strangers were dressed eerily, both wearing full hunting gear and masks. The tall one was wearing a scarecrow, ghostly type mask, and the shorter stranger was wearing a goat mask. The goat-faced stranger would occasionally bleat at us. We at first assumed they were just our friends messing with us. I'd say, okay, very funny, but really, who are you? Bah, the goat face would say as they twisted their head. My anxiety creeped up with every minute since they arrived, and they refused to tell us who they were or remove their masks. I started to spiral. Are these people friends? Are they our neighbors that we had kicked out of a different party we'd had? Are they murderers waiting for their moment? I thought all these things to myself as the goat-faced strangers had cornered me in the kitchen. Suddenly, I was very aware of the knife block behind me. I grabbed my phone, punched in 911, and said, that's it. If you don't tell me who the fuck you are right now, I'm calling the police. The strangers removed their masks, revealing the familiar faces of my very own mom and dad. They got us all very good, and they taught me yet another lesson in life. Maybe don't invite strangers into your house. Sorry I couldn't find the pictures of my parents dressed up. Thank you for reading. Big fan. I'll write in again with my actual spooky stories.
Well, this is a spooky story.
Yes, it is.
Because we watched that movie Who Invited Them with Ryan Hansen from Veronica Mars. I
haven't seen that.
I thought we watched it together on tour, or I think we watched it when we were in Denver last year. And it was like the couple is having like a housewarming party, and then these like posh 2 people show up, and they're very posh, and the husband's like, are they your friends? And the wife's like, are they your friends? And it's like, maybe they're neighbors. And the neighbors are like, they're not neighbors. And then as people leave the party, these 2 people stay, and they like get progressively weirder and weirder and more pressury. And you're like,
I don't think I've seen this.
Oh,
if we did, I don't remember it.
I will say it was like the best movie ever. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like a good like thriller. And we were like half asleep, half awake. I feel like we watched it when we stayed at the Brown Palace Hotel to do the mini-sode about the murder and the haunting that happened there. But that's the idea that, oh, everybody come to my party. And then as the doors open, it's just, they aren't even in costume. So the costume with the goat mask that's not talking to you is even much, much worse. It's like the movie The Strangers.
Yes. Just looking at you, head cocked, like, bah, when you try and answer a question. I would have lost it. On one hand, mad props to these parents.
Go,
like,
Mom and
you
Dad.
went hard. And you, I'm sure, are legends to everyone that was there. On the other hand, I would have poppled myself upon all of this happening, and then probably just broke down sobbing once I realized it was my own parents that had been doing this to me.
I just was trying to envision my parents, and I think that my mom would not be able to only bow at people. She would want to talk. And then my dad would be totally incognito all night because he would just at parties like chill in a corner and find like one or two people to talk shit with. So people would be like, that scarecrow is hilarious back there. We don't know what he is. He's just cracking Budweisers back there talking shit.
That goat she's got a bit of a twang, and she's been just talking all night.
That goat is hilarious. That's the funniest goat we've ever met. It's like, God damn it, that's my parents. I would recognize them right away. But that, like you said, that is a very good prank. I like parents who prank their kids. If any of y'all are listening, have fun. Because we've had a couple write in where parents, drive you to somewhere scary to, and then like you scream or something to startle you while you're in the car, whatever. Anytime a parent prank, I want more stories like that. Because I love those.
Especially in your good-natured ones. Yeah. In your 20s too. Clearly, you have a rapport where this probably wasn't the first. I don't think you go from zero pranks. And if you have, then you went hard. You went hard in the paint. Your first parents prank.
Or turning it up because they're like, well, let's just do a fun prank. What should we do? Full costume, sneak in, don't speak to them, terrify them, make them call the police.
Hunting gear, goat mask. You don't talk. You just say, bah, and cock your head at them anytime somebody asks you something. Then we're going to corner our daughter in the kitchen right by the knives until she breaks. We won't take these masks off.
And that's why you always check under the mask, kids. And you're like, oh, cool. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for the lesson. Can we just go back to partying now?
And then they stayed around and party. I love when families have like good-natured pranky relationships like this, because it says a lot about like, you're obviously close enough to where you can do something like this, and you're not going to lose contact with them. You're not going to destroy your relationship for the rest of your life.
No, because they weren't like, call the police, we'll see what happens then. Their parents are like, we take it all away. We take it to the max.
I'll have the cops show up. I will refuse to take this off. They spend the night in jail. There's a whole trial. They're like, I will die first before I give up this bit.
Exactly. Anyway, I saw my dad's in jail. He's serving 15 to 20 for breaking and entering. But he said he commits to the bit, and he said, don't be weak. Don't drop it.
So, I'm not. So anyways, well, thank you so much, Chelsea, for sending that in. It sounds like a hell of a party, and your parents sound very fun. So tell them we said, good job. What's up?
Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this next one is from Courtney, and the subject line is True Love Never Dies. Hey, cryptid cuties. I've been meaning to write in my story for the longest time and finally put the pod on pause, and I'm writing to you now. Freaky Friday is my absolute favorite. I even sing a little song for Freaky Friday when I wake up. Haha. So, my story is from a few years ago. I was teaching elementary school in my hometown. I have left that education world since then and now do professional development on educational technology. My work-life balance and pay is 1,000 times better. So if there are any teachers looking to leave, just know you can find another job in the education world you love. Anyway, I was teaching 4th grade at the time, and part of being a teacher is running into students, parents, grandparents, and siblings of the kids you teach, and not always remembering everyone's name. This particular Sunday, I was going with my mom to a Thai restaurant in my hometown for lunch. The restaurant has large glass windows, so as you walk up to the entrance, you can see everyone inside dining. As we walked in, I noticed an older couple eating, and that the older woman was staring at me as I walked up to the doors. I thought it was strange, but maybe she was just people watching. As we entered the restaurant and were waiting to be seated, I noticed the same older woman was staring me down, hard. My first thought was that maybe she's a grandparent of one of my students and she recognized me, although I didn't recognize her. I contemplated walking up to say hello, Before I could make my decision, our waitress sat us at our table. The layout of where we sat is important. My mom and I sat against the window, so essentially our shoulders were parallel with the window. The older couple sat perpendicular to me, so the man's back was to me and the woman was facing me. I didn't think anything about her staring because I was hungry by the time we were seated and was looking for the pineapple curry on the menu. Once we ordered, I noticed some movement out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, and the man was bagging his food to go and paid his bill. But there was no woman in sight. No plate on her side of the table, nothing. My stomach dropped to my feet. The man got up to leave, and I whispered to my mom, "Was that older man sitting with an older woman when we came in?" She told me, "No, he was alone. Why?" At this point, I thought I was truly going insane. I told her, "Are you sure? Maybe she just left early." My mom was positive nobody was with him. I told her I saw an older woman with him, and we were both confused. I called the waitress over and asked, "I'm sorry, this is probably such an odd question, but was there an older woman eating with that older man that just left?" She said, "No, why?" Again, my stomach dropped because I was truly feeling insane at this point. I've lost my mind and I'm hallucinating. Great. I told her that I swear I saw a woman eating with him, and she rather loudly said, "Oh my God, really?" I felt like the whole restaurant turned to look at me. I wish I could have vanished on the spot. The waitress then told me that the man's wife had recently passed away, and before she did, they would come to this restaurant every Sunday to eat lunch together. I was shocked. The waitress asked me to describe her, but it was so weird I couldn't get specific with it. It was such a quick blip in my mind. I didn't have specifics such as hairstyle or clothing style. But when I saw that woman, she looked as real as you or I. She told me next Sunday she would let him know what I saw and let him know that his wife was still dining with him. I think I was meant to see her. Maybe that's why she stared so hard, because she could tell I saw her and wanted me to remember so I could let her husband know. I had goosebumps the rest of the day, and while I still felt crazy, it made me feel better knowing that the husband would know she was still with him. Some of my friends think she's a residual ghost, lingering on repeat for Sundays. I like to think she comes down from wherever she is in the afterlife to continue their tradition of Sunday Thai food. It's been years since then, and I haven't had an encounter like that since. I'm not sure if it's because it scared me so much that I mentally blocked it from happening, if other ghosts just don't want to be seen, or if I'm just not noticing them because they look just like real people. I still sometimes wonder if it really happened, and all I need to do is call up my mom, and she confirms it wasn't a dream. It happened. She was there. Last year, I joined the Dead Dad Club, and I'm hoping that the part of my mind that opened to see that older woman will someday open to see my dad again. Thank you for all you do, for making this podcast, and for being a light during my week.
I like to think that she also just comes down to enjoy Thai food on Sundays. But that's a really interesting point of maybe she was staring so hard because she knew you could see her. Mm-hmm. I never really thought about that, but that's really interesting. It's also quite eerie to think maybe you're seeing ghosts all the time.
I see dead people.
Yeah, and you just don't know because they look like everybody else.
They're everywhere. Well, I agree. I think that she was probably trying to get her attention. A residual ghost is, I'm sorry, Mom, that's the type of ghost that was haunting my parents' house for all those years because I told you the guy had passed away in the driveway, and so she was running. So I think if it's something that's meaningful to you or was a big moment in your life, that's where your energy will go when you die, because I think all of our energy dissipates when we die and goes to different places, and where it goes, I think, depends on the life you live. And if this was something so important to her, I would say that would make sense that it would be a residual place, but more likely if she's looking at you and is cognizant and making contact, then yeah, it was more of a, hey, you can see me. Come on now, pass the message on. Let them know. I really don't think that a Yelp review or a Google review or anything, if 5 stars is nothing better than saying, I travel down once a week from the afterlife to get this pineapple curry. It was
Do you
so
know
good.
how good this pineapple curry, in life and death, there's no better pineapple curry I found. Don't think that it's all better over here on this side, because the pineapple curry is shit.
You're like,
That's
I've
me.
been
I
to
would
heaven.
haunt a Thai. Actually, I would haunt a Tex-Mex restaurant. I can be found at El Phoenix in the afterlife if anyone's looking for me.
Oh, definitely. Ooh, now I'm trying to think of where I'd be. El Phoenix, maybe Mi Casina, because I love a Mambo taxi.
I just had Mi Casina the other day.
Oh, I'm jealous. Now I want a
I
Mambo.
thought of you, too.
Oh, look at
Because
that.
I know you love the Mambo taxi.
I like El Phoenix as well. But yeah, I think, if you can say I've been to heaven and they don't have food this good, that's the ultimate. You don't need even like people love us on Yelp sticker. No, ghosts travel through time and space to come and eat this.
People jump universes, timelines to come get this curry.
We're leaving out the fact that her husband was also there, but any of us who've had a really good meal, it's like, you're here too. But
Right?
I'm glad you're here. But
And
that's
just,
very sweet.
completely, well, not completely unrelated, but pivoting. If you live in the DFW area and you want some really good curry, may I suggest Zap?
Oh, Zep is good.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
gotten
And their pineapple fried rice, maybe the best fried rice I've ever had. It's so good. ZAAP. Zap.
it's up at Garland and Buckner,
Yeah,
right?
there's a
Buckner
couple,
Gar-
I think. There's a couple. And they have those big ass macaron ice cream sandwiches that you can buy inside. God damn, oh, you haven't had one of those?
I'm gonna have to get one now.
Oh, they're like
I've
the
only-
size of a big ice cream sandwich, but the cookie part is different flavored macarons, and then the ice cream inside is also flavored. The lavender one, get out of town with that.
I love lavender
so good.
flavors. Well, now I'm getting off the mic. I know where I'm going after this.
They're really good.
They're very good. Well, thank you, Courtney, for sending that in. And I also hope for you that part of your mind will open and you'll get a visitation from your dad in a dream or in otherwise real life, wherever.
Me too.
That energy is still with you.
Sinisterhood will be right back.
Well, speaking of cults, this one is from Kieran, and the subject line is, My parents met in a cult. Hi, I've been a listener for a long time, and I especially love the Freaky Friday episodes. Despite the dramatic title, I don't usually dwell on this aspect of my family history, as it was over well before I was born, and my parents were really casual about it until recently. My parents were followers of Osho, aka Bhagwan Rajneesh, and met at the ashram in Oregon in the early 80s. But that's not where my family's involvement begins. My mom left Austria, where she had been living with her mom, Anne, and stepdad, and spent her teen years in the 70s living in Malibu with her dad, John. After my grandma's divorce, my grandma felt lost and went to visit my mom and grandpa John, whose brother Brian was also staying in LA at the time. Brian had recently been to a retreat in Joshua Tree, where Osho's voice recordings were used to guide the meditations, and he went to India and officially became a sannyasin, basically means a disciple and what Osho's followers called themselves. John and Anne were both intrigued by Osho's teachings and also visited India to take sannyas, receiving a mala, an Indian name from Osho, as part of accepting him as their spiritual guru. My mom was 19 when she visited Anne, who was staying at the ashram in India for a while, and, no surprise, became a sannyasin. I can't remember everyone's names, but Anne became Gaia, and my mom became Anugita. My dad is from England and was traveling around Europe in his 20s when his sister invited him to visit the ashram in India. From there, he followed a girlfriend over to Oregon, but I don't think he was ever that into the spiritual path. That girlfriend might have been his green card marriage wife. To stay in the U.S., practically everyone had at least one green card marriage during the 80s at the ranch, including all the family members I've mentioned. When my parents met in Oregon, my mom was 25 and had been there for a few years, and my dad was 30 and had been there off and on. They moved to San Francisco together when the ranch disbanded. My grandmother Anne is the only one who stayed a believer after Osho's deportation and death. None of us speak ill of him around her because she's 93 and can believe whatever makes her happy. No one had any traumatic experiences, and my parents called it a commune when I was a kid So I didn't know there was anything weird about it until Wild Wild Country came out, and all my friends freaked out about me never telling them. Most sannyasins had no idea what that inner circle was up to and hated Sheila. My parents were just hanging out with their friends, smoking weed, going to meditation, totally oblivious to the dark side of it all. A few years ago, my mom realized it was a cult and got really into cult documentaries and reading books from former sannyasins who actually did have traumatic experiences. In a weird twist of fate, my mom's sister ended up in a Jesus freak movement cult and met her husband because they had both just gotten free of it. Everyone was relatively normal by the time I came into the world in 1995. So normal, in fact, that sometimes it's hard to believe that they were involved in cults. The photos I attached are of my grandpa and mom in red with their mala necklaces. There aren't a lot of photos from the ranch or India, as it wasn't super common to have a camera where material attachments could be a distraction from spiritual paths.
Well, Heather.
Listen, your parents, they did the right thing. Osho's great. I'm a big fan. No, I'm kidding.
Heather accidentally joined.
Oh, right.
Kind of joined. I won't say she joined, but she spread the message for a minute.
Yeah, I've joked about it a couple times. It's funny when people are like, "What was that cult Heather was in?" It was not that serious, but it
No,
was
not
just silly
at all.
because I had purchased a meditation tarot deck that was like the Osho Zen tarot, and I was like, it's just kind of regurgitated like Zen teachings and whatever, but in this kind of deck. So I could be like, oh, I'll like pull a card and write about it or whatever. And then for a while, I had no idea who wrote it, and maybe like a year, I recommended it to people. I had given it as gifts. I had no idea. I probably looked like I was in there like she's like really into it. Where are her beads? Because she's been giving it as gifts. And then I Googled it and was like, Oh, what? Osho is Wild Wild Country. Wild Wild Country is Osho. Had a real Ace Ventura moment. I was like, what is happening? And it turns out, yes, I was following Bhagwan Rajneesh on accident. I still have the deck of cards because it's a funny story, but I don't like study it or follow it. But
no,
it's a good point though, because there were some people that were part of it that were like, I mean, you can watch the documentary or read their books that had a horrible time. But there, a lot of times in these cults, there are just the folks that are kind of like literally background characters that were like, I don't know, man, I was just smoking weed and shit hanging out. Like, yeah, I didn't see any. I didn't poison the salad bar.
Sounds like a great time if you're just smoking weed, going to meditation, hanging out with your friends all day. And
how you get me in a cult.
Now, I just got to say, respectfully, Kieran, your grandpa John is a zaddy. There's just no.
Oh yeah, he's got attitude. I like it.
I like the swag. I like the whole vibe.
For sure.
And so
pass that on.
Pass that on if you're able to. But it's so funny, and also that your aunt too. But we all have things in our past that you're like, yeah, that was just what I did in the 70s, and now I live a totally normal life.
Right. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'll just go to school then. I feel like my parents, my family, this is their history. But yeah, if they just kind of go like, oh yeah, we lived in a commune. It was a weird thing. And especially if they didn't know, like they couldn't tell you what they don't know. But I'm sure it's completely understandable that your mom, whenever she's like, wait, what was going on? Like you would want to like dig in and like get your arms around like what was really happening, not just with the people I was in there with, but then afterwards and then other similar groups. Like I totally see that becoming like a area of interest for sure.
Oh yeah. I would fall down a huge rabbit hole if I'd been involved in a group and then I found out, oh, well, the right-hand woman was trying to poison the entire town.
Yes, right. I'm telling you, man, poison a salad bar is unforgivable. She's doing a trash island too. Well, thank you very much, Kieran, for sending that in, and send our love to your family for us. Sinisterhood will be right back. Well, this last one is from Jennifer, and the subject line is The Strangest Car Tags. Hello. First off, I love your podcast. I've recommended it to everyone who so much as breathes the word podcast. I'm convinced at least 10 of your subscribers are my fault. This story has stuck in my head for years. It's short, but one of those weird little mysteries that makes you wonder if we're all just NPCs in some government simulation. So, years ago, around 2008 or 2009, my husband, well, ex-husband, but more on that later, and I lived in Oklahoma. And once a year, we'd pack up our 4 kids in a rented minivan and drive to New York to visit his family. Why drive 20 plus hours, you ask? Because my ex thought airline tickets were too expensive, and being trapped in a van with 4 overtired young kids for an eternity was apparently worth the savings. Anyway, this particular trip was somewhere in the far reaches of Pennsylvania, which, if you've ever driven through there, is just trees, hills, and the occasional rest stop. I was driving. He was, quote, trying to sleep, but really doing that half snoozing, half criticizing that some spouses seem to do. It was mid-afternoon, and we were still a few hours from New York City, and my nerves were frazzled, fried, and tired at the same time. And that's when it happened. 2 black cars came speeding up behind us out of nowhere. When I say speeding, I mean flying like bats out of hell. One was a Cadillac sedan. The other was a big black SUV, either an Escalade or a Suburban. Hard to tell because they blew past us so fast. What made my adrenaline really spike was their license plates. Both were pitch black. The entire tag was black, except for a bright red outlined triangle on the left side of the plate. No letters, no numbers, just nothing. I screeched, "Oh my God, what is that?" That shook my ex out of his almost nap. He saw the same thing I did. "Catch up," he demanded, as if our rental van was a NASCAR car. Now, I'm no race car driver, but I tried my best to speed up. I went as fast as I dared. I did have 4 kids in the back, but it didn't matter. Those cars were gone. We never saw them pull off the road or make an exit. We never saw brake lights or even taillights disappearing into the horizon. Just gone. Like they hit some secret turbo button and vanished into the Pennsylvania highway. For the rest of the drive, we were both wired. No amount of truck stop coffee has ever given me that kind of adrenaline rush. We spent the rest of the drive debating FBI, Secret Service, shadowy government agents, the Men in Black, perhaps. I Googled those creepy black plates for weeks after the trip and got nothing. Not one lead, just a lingering sense that we saw something we weren't supposed to. Here's the kicker. Even years later, long after our marriage ended, my kids will sometimes casually say, "Hey, Dad wants to know if you still think about those tags." It was one of the only things that we truly bonded over. Spoiler, I absolutely do. Because seriously, what were those tags? I've attached what I drew in Google Docs from what I remember about the tag. As you can see, it's pretty simple. "Thank you for being the best podcast. You are all truly the best." And she included a creepy ass picture.
Yeah, it looks like something from the Illuminati.
Yeah.
An Illuminati car.
Yeah, it's wild. The black plates, I don't think you're too far off saying maybe it's like a government ops
Secret
or whatever.
Service, yeah.
Or yeah, I mean the secret, they say like US government or Secret Service on them. I'm like DOD, military, some high up. The red triangle piqued my interest only because there have been mentions of red triangles on one of the subjects that the government took seriously, their claims of an encounter with some interdimensional being. One of the subjects described a red triangle on the chest of the being that he encountered. To the extent, A, he really did encounter it, B, he saw what he said he saw. But I just thought it was interesting. Apropos of nothing, you sent this thing with the red triangle, and I just finished reading a book where a guy said, and the strangest thing of all, the only thing I could really make out at all on this person's body, or not person, on this figure's body, was a red triangle on its chest.
Well, maybe those things are driving Escalades.
He's like, "I love an Escalade."
Honestly, I'd drive an Escalade over a spaceship if I had to go
just
to
for the
ground.
pleasure. Yeah.
I'm getting an Escalade. I'm getting a Range Rover, first of all.
I need something nice and wide berth, especially if I'm used to driving around in, a spaceship. I'm not going to come down and drive in like a tiny sedan. Yeah, a golf cart. I need something like with like a display, heads-up display.
It's bizarre that this happened near Pennsylvania, where other things are happening too. And like you said, it just kind of vanished. And a lot of people think there are government sites over there where you could just kind of drive into something that if you didn't know, like this hole in the mountain was there, then you wouldn't know it was there. But if you do, you do.
Yeah, if you know, you know. And, once we went down into Subtropolis, which is totally open to the public and normal, but just given like driving by it, you're like, oh, I wouldn't know that that's what that was. If I didn't know what that was and there was not an open entrance to see it. So all that to say there are, Dallas has tunnels underneath it, of course, more like pedestrian tunnels, but insofar as like you could have a subterranean network of just like, because you would want to keep it hidden from your adversaries.
Yeah.
You don't want to be able to have
True.
drones flying over and knowing all your business.
Yeah. Or you just eventually put them all out in the open to see like what would happen. Like
freak 'em
what's
out.
going to happen when how will the public react? Well, we're going to put it all on TikTok. And if they take this app away from us,
I swear to God,
that's going to be it. You're taking like
the revolution will begin, and it will be live streamed.
Yeah. Really, though, I mean, Stephen Greer is going viral all over TikTok right now. And just like in the past couple hours has been posting stuff saying in the next 30 days, by January 2025 or so, a lot of information is going to be released that hasn't been previously from whistleblowers and whatnot that may answer a lot of these questions. It's interesting that we're seeing a lot of this drone activity, and then this might also be coming out at the same time. So
true.
But in one of his TikToks, he said, I'm going to send everything I have to every celebrity. First of all, don't do that because
unless it's Tom DeLonge.
Yeah,
truly, Tom DeLonge is like responsible.
Shirley MacLaine, Rosie O'Donnell. They're allowed to know.
They're good ones.
But also, he said influencers, content creators, because the corrupt mainstream media, as he put it, and I won't disagree, is not going to get it out there. And that's why they want to ban TikTok, is because it is unregulated. And but he even said like podcasters, creators, like everybody has to put this out there to get as many eyes on it as possible, because that's how it's going to get out to the masses. It's not going to get out to the masses from traditional media. So we're doing our part by letting you guys know about this. But, I don't know. Who's to say? He's been saying a lot of stuff for a couple years. There's different camps of like, this is the same old of like teasing information is going to be released soon. And like, then it doesn't. Or there's another side that's like, it's finally happening. So who knows?
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
That's a good point. And it dovetails with what Ross Coulthart said on News Nation of his sources within both the CIA, the FBI, as well as the U.S. Air Force, that the information's just sort of bursting. Like it's about to leak out. Like what has been purposefully obfuscated from the public, from the taxpayers, and from the elected representatives is getting ready to burst. And he said in interviews he thinks it'll be in Q1 of 2025, whether it's by the end of January or he said, I please, because he was doing an interview and the person that was interviewing him said, I'm going to call you back in March. And if you were wrong, I'm going to like roast, basically like I'm going to roast you. And he said, please do, please do. Because this genuinely, I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm just going off the sources and the information I had. And that is why in his book, Lou Elizondo said he named it imminent, because he said he believed that some type of disclosure is imminent. Now he said, do I think it means it's in the next 30 days that this comes out? No, but it will not be 25 years from now. It will be shorter than that. So we'll see, man. It's new
Happy
year.
birthday to me, maybe January 4th, 2025. That's when we learn everything.
Take me. Take us all, though. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Wait,
don't just take me.
There's certain people. Can we all collectively make a list? And then
we'll have
stay?
a list. I mean, Santa does, so why can't we? We have a naughty and a nice list.
We're checking it twice. We're going to find out.
Yeah. Well, they're going to take us down to the ocean or out to space. I don't know, whichever one it is.
Either way,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm on board.
Literally.
As long as we have microphones, I feel like we can do the job from just about anywhere.
We're like, hey, everybody, we're coming to you live from just above the International Space Station. We're just circling out here. We decided we took a flight on the Boeing ship. I know it was the cheapest ticket. All right, we're stuck up here now. But seriously, if anybody listening has, any idea about this red triangle thing or all black tags, I know we've got to have military folks, government contractors, somebody. Your secret is safe with us. Message us on some, whatever an encrypted messenger thing is.
I know. Isn't that wild, though, that everything is digital? So it can get wiped. So you could also mail us a letter.
Yeah,
but,
actually.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that gets intercepted. I don't know how to do anything anymore.
Yeah, honestly, that probably is like the most, nobody knows where it's from. If you want to mail us a letter at Sinisterhood Podcast, P.O. Box 570626, Dallas, Texas, 75357. If you feel uncomfortable about emailing or DMing what you know and you want to send us a secret,
Oh, wow.
Send it to us to the post office
I look
box.
forward to the manifestos we're about to receive.
You know, I'll read every fucking word.
Oh yeah, we have boxes where we keep all the cards that we get. So now we have a manifesto box.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a bigger one, certainly. But yeah, please feel free.
Yeah, anybody that has stories that are similar to this, or maybe you saw the same thing around the same time. I mean, these span, a decade plus. So I don't know. Maybe we're on the brink of something.
Hopefully so. Well, we'll all check. You're hearing this December of 2024. If you are hearing this like in December 2025 and you're like, look at those ignorants. They had no idea that our alien friends were among us this whole time. Yeah. Maybe by the time somebody's listening to this in the future, it'll be a whole nother world. But
just like
more beautiful
listening to us in 2019 talking about COVID and then how optimistic we were about that one.
And like February, we're like, maybe we'll go to that comedy show. And it's like, no, you won't. Not for years. You're not going to any comedy show, kid.
It'll never be the same again.
It'll all go back, won't it? And you just want to go back and hug us. So yeah, perhaps you're listening in the future. Time's a flat circle. So we'll see you there.
Well, thank you so much to everyone for sending in your Freaky Friday stories. If you have an odd but true story, maybe you've encountered Bigfoot, you've seen a UFO, you had a brush with true crime, or you felt the presence of an otherworldly being, send them in at sinisterhood.com/Freaky Friday. Speaking of freaky, if you got something creepy caught on camera, found a weird or unexplainable clip online, maybe you just have a funny video you want us to see, send it our way and we'll live react to it during Sunday Scaries, our weekly live stream over on Patreon every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Central. It's totally free. You just put in your email and then you get access to that, and you get access to all of our backlog of bonus content that's available just for signing up for free.
Yes, and if you've got any videos of a guy just giving oral to an avocado or anything like that, send it in. Our husbands will make sure it gets in the fucking stream.
How many videos do you think we're going to have to watch of Donut Daddy this Sunday? Is it going to be Oops All Donut Daddy? Is that what we have to sit through?
I'm going to walk in on Paris. He's editing like, what? Like, babe, what are you watching? It's for the show.
I think I might disintegrate if I have to watch like any multiple of those, because it is so sexual.
It's a lot. We're going to have to put a moratorium. This will be the last video we watch before we go off, but send it on in and go check out all that free BOCO.
Yes. Well, if you like our free episodes, you'll love our Patreon bonus content. You can join for free, like we said, just to see what we're up to. Or you can dive into over 1,000 hours of bonus content, like Judge Christie, where I rule on petty grievances you bring before the court. True Crime Headlines, where we break down the latest news and updates in true crime. Heather's Saves, where anything Heather has found late night scrolling can be discussed. And Am I the Asshole? Unpopular opinions and other subreddits that we feel require our input.
If you're not curious about what we're talking about, you're not entirely sure what Patreon is, if you go over, join for free, like we said, monthly free bonus content, weekly Sunday Scaries. You can also join for a week at any of the tiers with a free trial. It's where you check out all the perks of that tier that you're in, like our Q&As or anything like that, and you can cancel anytime before the trial is over without getting charged. But if you stick around for an annual membership, you get 1 month free. And when you do, you get all kinds of stuff. What are some of the possible perks?
Ad-free episodes, monthly live stream Q&As, quarterly live bonus content that we let you all vote on, weekly audio bonus content, mini-sodes, merch discounts, and a community of the best listeners on the whole internet.
Head over to Sinisterhood.com, click shop on the top banner to check out merch like t-shirts, mugs, totes, stickers, and even clothes for your kiddos.
While you're on our website, you can also review the show and submit topics and cases you'd like us to cover. You'll also find fun things like topic-based playlists, and it was mentioned earlier, but Crime Wave at Sea 2025 is approaching rapidly.
Yes, and like we said in the episode, True Crime Campfire is going to be there with us. Henry and Ed from Last Podcast Side Stories. Dan and Lynn's from Scared to Death. We cannot wait. It's November 3rd through the 7th, and it's high sailing on the seas. We're going from Fort Lauderdale, the corner of the Bermuda Triangle, through the Bermuda Triangle, Bahamas, private island, bunch of fun stuff, live shows, vacation with us. It's going to be great.
Live shows, fan meetups, Q&As, meet and greets, just hanging out on the Lido deck, doing some
Pool parties.
shuffleboard, swimming. Wonder if they've got one of those big ass slides.
Oh, I bet. They do, actually. I just saw a video on TikTok.
Did you?
I saw a video on TikTok of a slide on a Royal Caribbean ship, and I went and looked up our Royal Caribbean ship, and they have a
Which ship are we on?
I believe we are on Liberty of the Seas, but don't go to crimewaveatsea.com/sinister and double check. But I'm pretty sure it's Liberty. But it's going to be a great time. Every Royal Caribbean ship is like classy, upscale. Like I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, this is the kind of ship I'm trying to get on.
They got a good pool area with lots of fun stuff.
So go to crimewaveatsea.com/sinister and get your fan code and book your cabin before it's all sold out.
Yeah.
Follow us over on Instagram and Threads at Sinisterhood Pod. Like us on Facebook at Sinisterhood. Follow us over on YouTube so that we can have more subscribers than Jeff and Shalea from Twin Flames Universe.
I was watching something earlier and we're like at 9.32. So
they're at 30. So we needed some more friends out there, but we can do it. I know we can do it. Follow us over on TikTok at Sinisterhood Podcast to watch clips from the episodes, live streams, and more. And if you're looking for a unique and personal gift for the Sinisterhood fan in your life, you want to treat yourself. That's cool too. Book a cameo now, regardless of what we're there to celebrate. Birthdays, birth announcements, graduations. We will create a customized video that can be immediately viewed and sent. It's a thoughtful gift. It's perfect for when you don't want to have to go anywhere to shop. And also it's a gift for the person that already has everything, because every cameo is completely unique. It's not just some clutter and junk that's going to take up more space. It's a meaningful message from you to them and delivered goofily, usually, sometimes emotionally. Just depends.
I feel like it's kind of 50-50.
50-50. Depends on what people want.
Serious emotional pep talk and horsehead lady body.
Yeah.
You never know. It's going to be either.
It could be any. Someone was like, can I have advice on applying to law schools? And we did one cameo that was just like quite literally me brain dumping everything about that. So anything you want to have us make a video of, go to cameo.com/sinisterhood and we'd love to make one. Where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram and Threads at Christy M. Wallace and TikTok at Christy or GTFO. Heather?
I'm on the internet at Heather versus the World.
As always, the devil rules the airwaves.
Keep it creepy.